On the night of my 18th birthday, my two childhood sweethearts who grew up with me secretly drugged me. At that moment, I heard their inner thoughts. Are we really going to do this? Whatever. We have been pursuing him for over 10 years and his favorability has been stuck at 90%. I really cannot wait any longer. The system requires that as long as either of us succeeds in pursuing him, we can return to our original world and each get one wish fulfilled. This time, I will go first. If I do not succeed, then you go next. That night, one of the childhood sweethearts climbed into my bed. The next night, the other secretly snuck in. The two childhood sweethearts would hug me and not let go whenever they told me since childhood. As long as an opposite sex appeared by my side, they would act as if facing a great enemy and drive them away. Love letters that others gave me would be torn to shreds before even being opened. They chose to drug me, to pursue me. I could only pretend not to know and play along with them. After all, they were born beauties since childhood and grew up to be exceptionally elegant with devilish figures and looks no less impressive than big stars. Anyway, I was not losing out. Unexpectedly, they used the method of sleeping with me to pursue me for a year, only to find that the favorability not only failed to increase but dropped quite a bit. Both of them instantly grew anxious and flustered. Their inner thoughts sounded again, "Damn it!" We ate, slept, and played with him. And the favorability did not grow a bit. Instead, it dropped some. Sob, what should we do? Will we never be able to go back? Rinni, I think even if we cannot go back, it is quite nice here. Kazuki is handsome, his family is rich, and he is very strong in that aspect too. What are you thinking, dead girl? As long as we complete the task, the system can even make you the richest person in the world. What kind of good man cannot be picked by you as you like? That is true, Rinni, but what should we do now? It is all this bastard Kazuki's fault, damn him. After we complete the task, before leaving, we must break his 3 legs. Then they activated Plan B. They felt they were too good to me and decided to do the opposite by finding a man to stimulate me and give me a sense of crisis. They actually found a university classmate, the green tea man Ren, that everyone hated, who also happened to be the son of Hinata's housekeeper. On that day, the two gave expensive gifts to Ren. One gave a 300,000 watch and the other gave a custom suit of equal value. The whole school was shocked. Everyone knew that they rotated around me all day, yet now they were showing great hospitality to another man. My alarm bells immediately went off, recalling those messy angst novels I had read before. If nothing unexpected happened, next would be all kinds of abuse directed at me. In the routine of such novels, the green tea man would try every means to frame and slander the male lead in order to snatch the two childhood sweethearts away. The two childhood sweethearts, without distinguishing right from wrong, would stand on the green tea man's side to suppress the male lead, abusing his body and mind. The male lead would forgive them and get bruised all over time and time again, and if not careful, might be forced to kneel and get slapped. Finally, even if the male lead wanted to stay away from the two childhood sweethearts, there would be some countdown. Thinking of this, I could not help but shudder. I was still in university now and could not keep bodyguards around 24 hours a day. Plus, my family's perception of the two childhood sweethearts had always been quite good. The 3 families had always had business dealings. Currently, the probability of successfully convincing my family to act against the 2 families was relatively low. My parents would only think I was making trouble. Thinking of this, I immediately decided to study abroad after turning 18 years old. Under my family's arrangement, our Tanaka family and the Kujo family had already reached a preliminary alliance relationship. It was just that I had always kept it from the 2 childhood sweethearts. My fiancée Akari handed me love letters every few days in high school, which were all torn up by these 2 childhood sweethearts, who did not forget to mock her. At this moment, she happened to be studying abroad. I used cultivating feelings as a reason and successfully convinced my family to agree. The next day, right after I packed my luggage, the 2 childhood sweethearts rushed back with the green tea man. This house was near the university and was where the 3 of us lived together. Seeing the 92% favorability above my head, the 2 instantly exchanged glances and saw excitement in each other's eyes. This favorability was, of course, their illusion. After a year of continuous trial, I also grasped a bit of the pattern. As long as I felt joy inside when seeing them, the favorability would rise. If my heart was as calm as water, it would turn into disgust and drop, but currently it would at lowest only drop to 70%. It seemed to be because of their high beauty and good skills that, deep down, I did not discuss them that much. Of course, I did not dare to adjust it too low currently. worrying that they would do even more crazy and extreme things. Just as I walked to the stairs with the suitcase, Hinata spoke coldly. "Kazuki, I just sent you a message asking Ren to move in as well. What are you making a fuss about? Can't you be a bit more sensible?" The other childhood sweetheart, Yui, also hastily echoed, "Exactly, Kazuki. Can't you be more generous? How about this? You give up a bit of your big room. Ren will live in the room at the bottom of the stairs." I was almost laughed to anger. The room at the bottom of the stairs was a utility room. In order to stimulate me, these two really had no bottom line. I looked at them playfully. "No need? I will not stay here to disturb you." The two childhood sweethearts exchanged glances with smiles in their eyes. This trick is indeed effective. This Kazuki is indeed jealous. Yet mocked expressions appeared on their faces. Hinata sneered. "Kazuki, play less of these tactics of retreating to advance with us. This trick of yours is useless on us. If you have the ability to dare to walk out today, do not ever come back again." Yui was even more full of disdain. "Exactly, do not act hypocritically here. Who wants to watch it?" I was too lazy to pay attention and pushed past them, wanting to go downstairs. At this moment, Ren grabbed me and said pitifully, "Sorry, Kazuki-san, it is all my fault. I was the one who wanted to move in. If you want to blame someone, then blame me. I know I am not worthy of living here." As he spoke, he wanted to push me. I was prepared long ago. How could I let him succeed? I just turned around. Ren instantly missed his push and rolled down the stairs. I looked coldly at Ren rolling down the stairs. He acted quite devotedly and lay on the ground wailing like a ghost. Hinata and Yui screamed at the same time and rushed down to support him. "Kazuki, you are too much!" Yui looked up and glared at me with reddened eyes. "Ren just wanted to apologize to you. Why did you have to push him?" Hinata's voice was even colder. "Kazuki, apologize right now. Otherwise, do not think we will forgive you." Ren wailed a few more times and weakly grabbed Hinata's arm. "Hinata-ne! Do not blame Kazuki-san. It was my own carelessness." Pulling my suitcase, I slowly walked down the stairs step by step, watching them act with a smile. "Hinata, Yui, I did nothing just now. You are not blind. Besides, there are surveillance cameras everywhere in this house. Do you need me to pull them out for you to see?" The two froze and were too guilty to look at me. I did not look at them again and walked outside past them. Yui reacted first, and seeing me leave, hurriedly opened her mouth. "Kazuki Onisan, even if Ren was careless, why do you leave just like that? Ren is injured from the fall." Pulling my suitcase, my steps paused for a moment. "If he is injured, send him to the hospital quickly. I am not a doctor, and I do not need to pay the fees." "Stop!" Hinata said sharply. "Kazuki, if you dare to step out of this door today, do not ever come back." I walked away without turning back. "Two idiots. I will not play with you for now." That night I flew away. It was said that later the two childhood sweethearts went crazy looking for me and went to my home to make trouble several times. But I had instructed my family, so no one revealed my whereabouts. The two idiots had no choice but to continue playing with the fool Ren. The three got along harmoniously. While I cohabited abroad with Akari for 3 years, our feelings warmed up rapidly, like glue. 3 years later, I returned to the country with Akari. On one hand, my dad was in poor health and hurriedly advised me to come back and inherit the family business. On the other hand, I was preparing to marry Akari. I held Akari as we walked out of the airport. She looked up at me and threatened furiously. "Kazuki, I am your fiancé now. If you dare to help your two childhood sweethearts bully me again, I will give you a hard time." I affectionately pinched her delicate skin. "All right, Miss School Beauty. I do not even have enough time to dote on you. How could I bully you?" She used her small hand to pinch my waist. "Still saying you didn't? I get bullied by you every night." I smiled and held Akari tighter, whispering in her ear, "Then tonight, I will let you bully me back properly." Her ears turned red instantly, and she gave me a flirty glare. After 3 years, Akari grew even more moving. The once green school beauty was now generous and had a striking temperament. A simple light yellow dress complemented her skin, attracting many people's glances at the airport. Just as we walked to the airport exit, two familiar figures suddenly broke into sight. Hinata and Yui. After 3 years, they were still clear and moving. But compared to Akari, they lacked somewhat. Between their eyebrows, there was also a bit more haggardness. At this moment, their gazes were staring dead at my hand, holding Akari's waist, as if eyes were going to shoot fire. "Kazuki!" You washed over first with a questioning voice. "Where on earth have you been these 3 years? Why didn't you contact us?" Hinata was a step slower, but her gaze was even colder. "Kazuki, I know we got a bit close with Ren and made you jealous, but you do not need to find someone else to anger us randomly." I looked at them like looking at two strangers. "Please move, my fiancé is a bit tired and wants to go back to rest." Hearing me refer to Akari as my fiancé, the two froze instantly with pale faces. "Fiancé?" Yui screamed out. "Kazuki, what joke are you making? The three of us grew up together as childhood sweethearts. When did you have a fiancé? How come I did not know?" Hinata looked at Akari angrily. "Did she seduce you when you went abroad, right? She wrote love letters to you every day in high school. Shameless! Kazuki, to attract our attention, you actually found this bitch to act for us." The surrounding people looked at us one after another. Akari wanted to refute, but I pulled her. How could arguing be as satisfying as slapping someone? My gaze was icy and I slapped her directly on the face. "Hinata, if you dare to speak recklessly again, I will never let you off." The crisp sound of the slap echoed at the airport exit. Hinata covered her face and stared with wide eyes in disbelief. Yui was also scared silly and froze on the spot. You hit me?" Hinata's voice trembled with tears welling in her eyes. "Kazuki, you hit me for Akari?" I looked at her coldly. "This slap teaches you how to respect people. Akari is my fiancé, not someone you can insult." The two stared at me angrily with faces flushed red. After a moment, "Rinni, what should we do? Could Akari really be his fiancé? If they get married, will our task fail?" Hinata's voice sounded, "No, impossible!" From childhood to adulthood, there was only us around him, not seeing each other for 3 years. Look at his favorability towards us now, which is still at 88%. It shows he has us in his heart. Humph, he just wants to learn from us, finding Ren to stimulate us. Yui breathed a sigh of relief. Hearing Rinni analyze it like this, I feel much more at ease. This Kazuki's scheming is really heavy to actually learn our trick. So hateful. When our task is completed, let's see how we torture him. After the two exchanged thoughts, they restored their confidence. Hinata reached out her hand to pull me. "Kazuki, do not throw a tantrum. Come home with me first. These 3 years after you left, your room was always kept and cleaned every day, right at this moment." Her phone rang abruptly. After answering it, her face changed drastically. "Ren! Do not act recklessly. Do not think of committing suicide. We are not leaving you. We are coming back now." Yui's face also changed instantly. The two seemed to have forgotten about me. Without even taking a look, they ran away in a hurry. Akari looked at me full of confusion. "Kazuki, why do I feel these two people are very weird?" I pinched her soft cheek again. "These two people have some problem with their brains. I have been playing with them. Forget it. Let's ignore them and go home quickly." At night, my parents threw a grand homecoming banquet for me. Akari and I attended in full dress and instantly became the focus of the whole banquet. Halfway through the banquet, unexpectedly, the two childhood sweethearts also came with Ren. Ren's hand was still wrapped in bandages. Akari and I were holding red wine. Chatting by the pool, he came straight towards us to greet me. When he saw Akari, a flash of amazement and deep jealousy crossed his eyes, looking at me. His eyes were full of provocation. "Kazuki, long time no see. I came today wanting to personally return Hinata-ni and Yui-ni to you. They accompanied me for 3 whole years, but I know the two sisters always have you in their hearts. Sorry, it was me who took your place. I shouldn't have snatched with you. It is all my fault." Saying that, he pretended to trip and fell towards me. My eyelids bounced. This guy really does not learn. Coming with this trick again, I decisively pulled Akari back half a step. With a splash, Ren fell directly into the pool, water splashing everywhere. Rin splashed around miserably in the pool. "Help! Save me quickly! I cannot swim!" he shouted in panic. Surrounding guests gathered around, pointing at Ren. Hinata and Yui arrived upon hearing the noise. Seeing Ren in the water, their faces changed greatly. "Ren!" Yui screamed, wanting to jump into the pool to save him. I reached out my hand and stopped her. What are you in a hurry for? Haha, this pool water is 1.2 meters deep. Sure enough. After Ren splashed a few times, he actually stood up. The water was only up to his chest. He stood awkwardly on the spot with a flushed, red face. Ren was soaked all over with wet hair sticking to his face like a fallen rooster. The surrounding guests watching the scene could not help but laugh out loud. Hinata glared at me resentfully and reached out her hand to Ren in the water. "Ren, come up quickly!" Ren was pulled up, shivering all over, looking extremely miserable. "Kazuki-san, I know you hate me very much, but there is no need to humiliate me like this, right?" He spoke aggrievedly with tears dropping. Hinata immediately got a towel from the housekeeper to dry his hair, turning her head to glare at me furiously. "Kazuki, you are really too much." "Ren just came to apologize to you. Do you have to treat him like this? Aren't you just jealous of him, feeling that we didn't revolve around you like before, afraid that he took your place?" Yui also gnashed her teeth. "Kazuki, look at what you have become now to fight for favor. The more arrogant you are, the more it will only push us towards Ren." Listening to their outrageous remarks, I almost laughed to anger. As guests, the way people looked at them also became strange. I swirled the red wine glass in my hand and spoke unhurriedly. "Do you two have brain problems?" He jumped down on purpose himself. "What does it have to do with me? So many people saw it with their eyes. Do you think everyone is as blind as you?" Akari affectionately held my arm and echoed softly. "Yes, Kazuki and I were standing fine," he insisted on throwing himself over. The surrounding people also mocked one after another. "Heavens, isn't this blackmail?" I saw with my own eyes he jumped over himself. Young Master Tanaka didn't even touch him. How can this be blamed on young Master Tanaka? These days, green teas are many, but green tea men are rare. "Yes, it was my own carelessness. Do not blame Kazuki-san." Ren was publicly mocked, and his face turned blue and white. Hinata and Yui also realized the problem, but still shielded Ren behind them. "What do you know?" Yui shouted at the surrounding guests. "Ren is so kind. It was just an accident. Kazuki could clearly pull him but deliberately dodged." Hinata glared at me fiercely. "Kazuki, you were deliberate. Just admit it. You were jealous that Ren accompanied us these 3 years. So you want to take the opportunity to revenge," Akari sneered. "My husband, the grand only successor of the Tanaka Group, would be jealous of him. A housekeeper's son who could only blend in by relying on you bring him along," the phrase, "my husband," completely enraged the two childhood sweethearts, pointing at Akari, cursing loudly. "Akari, shut up!" Hinata trembled with anger. "Who is your husband?" "How can you be so shameless?" Yui stared dead at Akari. "It is you, this bitch, who took advantage of the situation." A surge of anger erupted in my eyes, and I directly went forward to slap each of them once. "Did I not warn you? If you are disrespectful to my fiancé again, I will not let you off. A Hinata family and a Kujo family only reached today by relying on the help of my Tanaka family. I, Kazuki, really gave you face. Now I demand that you drop to your knees immediately to apologize to my fiancé. Otherwise, do not blame my Tanaka family for not showing affection." These two transmigrators could not recognize their own identities and even delusionally thought about breaking my 3 legs to torture me. The first thing I had to do, after coming back to inherit the family business this time, was to take action against the two families. 2 crisp slapping sounds echoed. Hinata and Yui covered their faces and stared at me with wide eyes, their eyes full of disbelief. The whole venue was dead silent. Everyone was shocked by my action just now. "Kazuki, you!" Hinata's voice trembled, and her eyes were red. I glared at the two of them coldly. "Kneel down and apologize to me." Yui screamed and pointed at Akari, who had a smile in her eyes. "Kazuki Onisan, are you crazy asking us to kneel to her?" "What? Unwilling?" A trace of ruthless force flashed in my eyes. "It seems you plan to choose the second path." I pulled out my phone and directly dialed Special Assistant Exu's number. Special Assistant Shu was an old employee of the Tanaka Group, and I had already started connecting with him when I was abroad. Notified down that starting tomorrow, the Tanaka Group will terminate all cooperation with the Hinata family and the Kujo family. At the same time, fully sell off the shares of both families. For the payment of goods owed by the Hinata and Kujo families directly go through legal procedures. After the phone call was hung up, the scene was instantly in an uproar. These guests originally came just to attend my homecoming banquet. Unexpectedly, they watched a big show. And the fuse of this commercial war was actually triggered by a housekeeper's son. It could only be said that the young ladies of the Hinata and Kujo families really had no brains at all. To actually oppose young Master Tanaka in public for a housekeeper's son, wasn't this seeking death? Without the Tanaka family, where would today's Hinata and Kujo families be? Hinata and Yui's faces turned pale in an instant. "No, Kazuki, you cannot do this!" Hinata rushed over in panic to grab my arm. "Kazuki, we are childhood sweethearts who grew up together since childhood." Yui also cried and shouted, her eyes full of panic. "Kazuki Oni-san, we were wrong. We know we were wrong. Please do not treat us like this. We love you. Our being good to Ren was to stimulate you." I forcibly shook off Hinata's hand and looked at them coldly. "You only know you were wrong now? It is too late." A strong feeling of disgust surged inside me, and my favorability towards them instantly broke through the critical threshold of 40%. Right at this moment, a bizarre scene happened. Hinata and Yui suddenly held their heads at the same time and squatted down in extreme pain. System warning, favorability is below 40%. Punishment procedure is about to open. The inner thoughts of the two were filled with panic. How? How could the favorability drop so terribly? What on earth happened? No. Instantly, streams of electric current spread through their whole bodies. "Ah!" Hinata screamed while Yui trembled all over with tears and nose running. "No system, I was wrong. Do not use electric shock punishment." The present guests froze, one after another, not understanding what they actually encountered and why they started talking nonsense. Akari pulled my hand with some fear. "Husband, what happened to them?" I patted her hand and comforted softly. "Just playing ghost. Ignore them." I turned my head to look at the bodyguard captain. "These 3 troublemakers. Push them to knock 3 loud head bows, then throw them out. From today on, forbid them from stepping half a step into the Tanaka house again. Yes, young master." The bodyguard captain brought people to step forward immediately, forcibly pressing the 3 to kneel down, to knock heads repeatedly. Hinata and Yui were electrocuted until their bodies were limp, holding on strongly so as not to pass out, having not a bit of strength to resist. On the contrary, Ren stared at me dead, his eyes venomous. After knocking heads, the 3 people were thrown out by the bodyguards like dead dogs. My parents watched this scene from afar. Far from being angry, they were actually very relieved, although Hinata and Yui were my childhood sweethearts. As the group successor, if I was blindly soft-hearted and caught in children's romance, they would also be deeply disappointed, the 3 people cursed while climbing up from the ground. Ren's tears dropped again. "Hinata ni, Yui ni, it is all my fault. If not for me, Kazuki wouldn't treat you like this. It is all because I am too useless, that I dragged the 2 sisters down." Ren performed for a long time only to find that the 2 of them did not comfort him at the first moment like before. Instead, their eyes were full of disgust and annoyance. Ren panicked and hurriedly said, "Hinata ne, Yui ni, you are so good. Kazuki does not know how to cherish you. Rest assured I will definitely love and cherish you properly." Hinata was enraged and slapped his face. "Ren, did I not warn you not to have thoughts you shouldn't have towards us? You are just a tool I use to stimulate Kazuki. Did you really think we liked you? If not for you, would we suffer such great humiliation today?" Yui pointed at Ren's nose and cursed loudly. "A housekeeper's son like you is also worthy of our liking? I tell you, you better pray Kazuki can forgive us, otherwise Rinni and I will never let you off." The words of the 2 made Ren drop into an ice cellar. He panicked and was scared to the extreme, shivering without being able to say a word. He had long forgotten the agreement when the 2 found him. These past few years, he was constantly immersed in the tender trap of the 2. The greed in his heart also grew larger and larger. He kept imagining a life of holding left and right, feeling excited just thinking about it. He couldn't wait to make trouble on the first day I returned to the country. Remembering the sweet life of these past few years, and the cold and heartless words of the 2 just now, Ren laughed frantically, laughing while tears flowed out again. "Hinata, Yui, do not deceive yourselves anymore. Kazuki does not love you at all. Otherwise, he wouldn't be gone for 3 years. The person who loves you and cares about you most is me. Please look back at me, okay?" Ren did not expect that these words of his did not arouse a single bit of sympathy from the 2, Hinata's eyes held only bone-chilling coldness. "Shut up! What kind of thing are you to compare with Kazuki?" Kazuki was just bewitched by that vixen. He definitely has us in his heart. Yui was furious and rushed up to kick him. "Exactly, roll far away. Seeing you now makes me sick." The two left Ren in place and walked away together without hesitation. Ren could only take a taxi back to the residence. Who would have thought all his things were thrown out by bodyguards? He still wanted to rush into Entangle, but was beaten severely by bodyguards, beaten black and blue with injuries all over. The eldest miss said, "If you dare to appear in front of her again, she will make you vanish completely." Ren curled up by the roadside. He had gotten used to this rich life these past few years. Now he fell into the mud again. Looking at the luggage scattered all over the ground, his eyes were full of despair and hatred. "Kazuki, Hinata, Yui, every single one of you humiliated me and looked down on me." His face distorted. "Just wait. I will definitely make you pay a tragic price." Starting the next day, the stocks of the Hinata Group and Kujo Group plunged. These two companies originally developed by relying on the relationship of Hinata and Yui. With me, most of the business came from my Tanaka family. As long as I cut off cooperation, other business partners chose to sever ties with the two companies to avoid risks. Almost the whole city guessed the ending of the two companies. Not a single person was willing to lend a helping hand. The heads of the Hinata and Kujo families could not sit still and brought gifts one after another to apologize to my parents. My parents threw the gifts out directly with dark faces. Dad was even furious. "In the past, for the sake of your daughter's good relationship with my son, I took care of your two families all these years, but your daughters were great. Not to mention driving my son away 3 years ago, yesterday, in front of so many guests they even united with a housekeeper's son to bully my son together. Did you really think I have no temper? Everyone is an old fox in the business world. Do not play this set in front and another behind with me." In order to prevent my dad from softening his heart, I especially told him the truth about going abroad 3 years ago, and also told him about Hinata and Yui's plan to break my 3 legs. My dad was furious and even less likely to be soft-hearted. The heads of the two families were stunned by my dad's scolding. Their faces turned pale, with cold sweat pouring, exchanging glances. They grit their teeth and immediately dropped to their knees with a thud. "Old Tanaka, it was us who failed to teach our daughters. Sorry. Please give our families another chance. No matter what, we were neighbors before." No matter how they begged, my dad remained unmoved, dragging the two out with bodyguards with a cold face. The two childhood sweethearts almost blew up my phone with calls. Of course, I didn't pick up a single one. After the inauguration ceremony ended, I just arrived at the group parking garage with Akari. When we ran into them, both of them had obvious slap marks on their faces. It seemed they were educated by their parents. Seeing me, their eyes immediately turned red and they rushed over directly, but were quickly stopped by bodyguards. What a joke! In those novels, once both sides tore off their faces, some dagger, mistress blade, or car accident would appear. Of course, I had to make preparations in advance. I didn't want to accidentally become the male lead of dead protagonist literature. I looked at them with a half smile. "Eldest Miss Hinata, eldest Miss Kujo, at this time, shouldn't you be accompanying Ren? How do you have time to appear here?" Mentioning Ren, the faces of the two turned extremely ugly in an instant. Hinata pulled out her phone to show me the video of bodyguards beating Ren. "Kazuki, back then we just wanted to stimulate you, so we found Ren. Yui and I really know we were wrong. We love you. Please give us another chance, okay?" Actually, before hearing their inner thoughts at 18 years old, I also thought I would end up with one of them. Unexpectedly, their kindness to me was a naked scam. Now, hearing them say they loved me only made me feel sick. It was hard on them, clearly hating me to death in their hearts, yet having to put on a deeply affectionate appearance. Yui looked up at me with a crying tone in her voice. "Kazuki Oni-san, please, we really cannot live without you. Please give us another chance, okay? In the future, we will never do anything to hurt you again. We were wrong. We really regret it." Hinata hurriedly echoed, "Yes, Kazuki, we really know we were wrong. We both love you. Whichever of us you marry is fine." I held Akari's slender waist and looked at them with disdain. "Why should I choose you? Akari is prettier than you, has a better figure than you, and has a better family background than you, Am I blind to insist on picking one between you two? Roll as far as you can roll for me." After saying that, I pulled Akari to leave, but the two grew anxious, trying desperately to break free from the bodyguards to rush over, only to be pressed firmly onto the ground by the bodyguards. Hinata's eyes were bloodshot, and she shouted anxiously, "Kazuki, you cannot choose someone else. We really cannot live without you. You can punish us however you want. You cannot choose someone else." Yui stared dead at me with deep unwillingness in her eyes. "Kazuki Oni-san, you cannot treat us like this. We won't make you choose anymore. We will both marry you, okay? As long as you love us, we are both yours." At this moment, it was the off-work peak hour, and there were many people in the underground parking garage, all shocked by Yui's words and discussing animatedly on the spot. Akari got jealous and pinched my waist fiercely, hurting so much I almost screamed, grimacing in pain. "This girl is so jealous, I have to handle her properly tonight." I was worried these two crazy women would sprout more shocking remarks, and a strong feeling of disgust surged in my heart. Unsurprisingly, the two were subjected to electric shock punishment by the system, again, wailing on the ground in pain. I ignored them and left with Akari. I thought the two of them would retreat, knowing the difficulty. Unexpectedly on the day Akari and I tried on wedding dresses, the two appeared again, of course. When they were 3 meters away from us, they were stopped by bodyguards. Hinata's eyes were red as she stared dead at me. "We were childhood sweethearts. How could you marry Akari? Don't you miss the days of the three of us at all?" Yui held a pile of yellowed photos in her hand, all group photos of the three of us growing up together. "Kazuki Onsan, look, we were so happy together. Do not abandon us. As long as you love us, Rin-ni and I can be your mistresses too." Hearing this, the wedding dress shop staff opened their mouths wide in shock. Akari was fine. She seemed to somewhat believe the fact that these two were mentally ill. I frowned and gradually became impatient, saying to the bodyguards, "Take them out for me." "No!" Hinata suddenly pulled out a fruit knife from her bag and pressed it against her neck. "Kazuki, if you do not agree today, I will die right in front of you. If I die, do not think of resting in peace for the rest of your life," Yui also hurriedly echoed. "Right, Kazuki Oni-san? If you do not agree, I will accompany Rin-ni too." Whether they died or not, I didn't care at all. But I didn't want Akari to have any psychological shadow. I gave the bodyguards a look. These bodyguards were all professional. The next second, they snatched the knife from Hinata's hand and pressed her to the ground. I stepped forward, looking down at her. "Hinata, do you think I care whether you die or not? I tell you, even if you two die here today, I will still marry Akari. If you want to die, then die far away. Do not gather in front of me." Seeing Hinata restrained, Yui hurriedly cried while trying to pry the bodyguard's hands, looking up at me crying, "Kazuki Oni-san, how can you say such heartless words? We really love you. We do not ask to marry you. We just want to stay by your side. Is this small request of ours excessive?" At this moment, their inner thoughts wished to hack me into 1,000 pieces. "Sister, what to do? If the task fails, we can never go back," cursed Kazuki. "When our task is completed, we must hack him into pieces. If this time still doesn't work, we will kidnap him and lock him up. In the future, his world will only have us two women. Feelings grow over time. I don't believe I can't complete the task." I squatted down and whispered softly in their ears, "Oh, wanting to kidnap me? Do you two have the ability?" The identity of you two transmigrators I actually knew long ago. All these years I was merely playing with you. Know why I didn't want you as mistresses? Because I got tired of playing. You are two lunatics. I don't want to capsize in a ditch one day. Now I have looks and money. Goods like you can be picked as I please. Did you really consider yourselves treasures? Hey, these words could be said to kill the heart. The two childhood sweethearts went crazy on the spot. Their pupils shrank and the color drained completely from their faces. "You, how could you know? You knew long ago?" Hinata's voice trembled. "How could you know? All these years? Have you been playing us all along?" Yui collapsed and screamed even more. "Impossible! It is impossible for you to know our secret." The corners of my mouth curled up with disdain in my tone. "From the night of my 18th birthday, when you drugged me, I already knew. Oh, right? I also mastered the method to make you suffer electric shocks. If you don't believe it, I will demonstrate it to you right now." Inside my heart, I pushed the disgust towards them to the peak. The two instantly suffered the strongest electric shock punishment in history, convulsing violently and foaming at the mouth. I watched coldly. This is the proof! The eyes of the two were filled with terror, rolling on the ground, continuously begging for mercy. "Stop! Stop quickly! I was wrong! Kazuki Onisan, please let us go!" Those staff members didn't know why these two suddenly became like this, as if having an epilepsy attack. Scared out of their wits one by one, right at this moment, an urgent warning sound suddenly came from the bodyguard captain's earpiece. "Not good! An out-of-control pickup truck is rushing toward here rapidly! Alert! Alert!" The bodyguard captain reacted quickly, pulling Akari and me over at the first moment to hide behind a huge pillar. Boom! A pickup truck, like a roaring giant beast, rushed straight into the wedding dress shop. A huge impact sound crashed loudly. Glass fragments and concrete debris flew everywhere. That pickup truck seemed to target me, rushing straight to the position where I was standing just now. "Protect the young master!" The bodyguard captain shouted loudly. Several bodyguards quickly protected us in the middle. In the filling dust and smoke, the one seen distorted and dripping with blood happened to be Ren. "Ha ha! Go to hell, all of you!" Ren was shaken severely by the recoil force, spitting big mouthfuls of blood while laughing crazily. "Kazuki, what I, Ren, cannot get, do not think you can get either." His hand slammed the steering wheel. The pickup truck accelerated again. This time the target was actually Hinata and Yui, who were still lying on the ground, wailing. The two screamed in terror, rolling frantically to the side, but both their legs were crushed by the pickup truck. The scene instantly sounded with their tragic screams, truly shrill beyond compare. Even the screams of ghosts were not as frightening as theirs. The pickup truck slammed heavily into the wall collapsed, and the vehicle lost movement. Bodyguards went forward to check, finding Ren spitting blood crazily, obviously having injured his internal organs, passing out in a short while. In this accident, Ren was declared dead due to ineffective emergency rescue. Although Hinata and Yui were saved, they could only sit in wheelchairs for the rest of their lives. After the Hinata and Kujo families went bankrupt, the two families hated them to death. Now that they became disabled, they suffered cold eyes and torture even more. The two could not return to their original world, having great problems mentally, telling everyone they met that they were transmigrators, finally being sent to a mental hospital by their families. Occasionally, when I was in a bad mood, I would go visit them. Whenever they saw me, they got very excited. Every time they were just about to curse loudly, they fell to the ground, convulsing and foaming at the mouth. Truly pathetic. I decided to visit them more in the future. Who made them once my beloved childhood sweethearts?